Hello, welcome to What Would Mom Say? Today we are making stuffed peppers with quinoa and some salsa, garlic, carrots, and cheddar cheese. So we're going to start by, well, first of all, you have to cut the top of the pepper off, like so. And then you usually get like the seeds and whatnot in here, so you have to cut out the middle, because that's where the quinoa and everything else goes. You want to rip this out and any of the other gunky stuff in here. And you want to keep the top because you want to put that on top because it helps it cook and it just looks nice. And tomatoes, and as you can see, they are crushed tomatoes. So get this open. And I'm going to add the tomatoes to the onions, which I'm sauteing right now.
And garlic.
And garlic. Which, if you watch another What Would Mom Say video, you can learn how to saute onions. But we're not going to go over that today. So, now that that's open, if you come over here, you'll see that we have the garlic and the onions. And we are going to cook these until they are a translucent color, and then we are going to add the canned tomatoes. So, now we just added the carrots in here because we want to go with kind of like a Mexican vibe. So, the carrots just are a really good addition to this recipe. Now, we're going to take the peppers and we're going to steam them. So, we're going to take them and put them into this big pot, like so. You can see in this big pot you have about a ½ inch of water. So we're going to put them in here. Okay, so now I'm going to put the lid over the 4 peppers. And you want to cook them until they're like a very soft. They're really soft. It's going to be on a high boil. And leave them in for about 5 minutes. Now, in the meantime, we are going to add the tomatoes into the pan that has, again, onions, carrots, and olive oil. You want to add the whole can, and then you decide once the mixture is made how much you want to put into the quinoa. Now you're going to turn this up to high until it boils, or until it bubbles, and then you're going to turn it down and let it sit for about like 10 minutes or so. So we're also going to add black beans to the quinoa. And whenever you have any food in a can, you want to rinse it out. So we put it in a strainer. Smart, because you want to get the yucky stuff off it. Drain it like you were to do vegetables or lettuce or anything like that. We're going to let that sit because we're not ready for it just yet. So, come over here. See that the tomatoes and the onions and olive oil and carrots, it's starting to boil now, so we're going to turn it down. And we're going to let this sit for 10 minutes, and then we're going to add, I believe, a fourth of a teaspoon of sherry. We're going to let that cook for another 10 minutes. In the meantime, we have to start cooking quinoa. This is the box we're using, and just for reference, the recipe that we're using is on the back. And always look on the back of rice and quinoa or pasta. They always give you really good recipes. So for quinoa, this is already washed quinoa, so we don't have to wash it. It's always 2 cups of water to 1 cup of quinoa. And we're going to use the whole box, so there is approximately... So in this box, there's 2 cups of quinoa that I just spilled all over the floor. So you can add the water and the quinoa all together. So the quinoa is in there now. We need to get 4 cups of water because, like I said, it's 2 cups of water to every cup of quinoa. We're also going to add chicken stock. So just need to put some water in the pot now. So I'm going to bring the pot over here. Hot! Yeah. So now I'm going to turn the back burner on, and if I can get it going. And I'm going to put it on high. So this is the quinoa and the water. And I'm going to add the chicken bouillon. And I'm going to use all of it because we use the whole box of quinoa. And this kind of looks like Jell-O. Kind of gross. Let it sit until it boils, and then once it starts boiling, turn it down to low and let it sit for 30 minutes or so. In the meantime, turn the oven on to 350 degrees while everything else is cooking. So the peppers are just about finished, and if you saw me burn my hand before, always remember to use a towel. Don't want blisters on those pretty little hands. So you know when the quinoa is done when all of the water is soaked up, and if you go look at the bottom, there's no water, obviously, on the bottom of the pot. So now in the meantime, we've also added about a half a can of salsa for spice and just a little Frank's red hot sauce as well, because we want to make it zesty, spicy, Mexican stuffed peppers. So now we are going to add the sauce to the quinoa, and you can do it whatever which way you like, but I just want to make sure that there's not a whole lot of sauce in the quinoa. Adding the sauce to the quinoa, do it about a spoonful at a time. Again, just to see how much you really want in there, and it's all preference. If you like a lot of sauce, if you don't like a lot of sauce. So we need to add a lot more than that because we hadn't used a whole box of quinoa, so we're probably going to end up using a whole pot of sauce. Okay, so now I'm going to add the quinoa in the sauce to the peppers, which we have already steamed, and they are ready to go in the oven. Well, not quite yet. So, come over here, please. So, we're going to fill the peppers up to the top, each of them. And 4 peppers usually, depending on how hungry you are, 2 to 3 people. So, we're going to fill these all up. Like so. And they can overflow because the quinoa is just delicious anyways. Now we're going to add the cheese, and this is Grafton Honey Maple Cheddar from Grafton, Vermont. You want to support your local farm. We're going to add these to the top because cheese is great on everything. Then just add the rest of the quinoa to the bottom of the pan because it just tastes good and it looks pretty. And we're all about presentation here. What would Mom say?
Hale, thanks for being a guest chef on What Would Mom Say?
Can't wait to come back, Sal. So now you're just going to sprinkle the rest of the cheese on the pan and on top and all over. Then you're going to take the tin foil, which isn't open yet, and my assistant has been very helpful, and rolling right before the batter dies. So you're going to take a big slab of tin foil, put it on top, get it nice and tight. Take this towel, the oven, place it in the oven, which again is at 350 degrees. Close the oven,